Florida Driver's License Practice Test Study Guide, 50 questions and answers. Part 1. Road signs. 1. What does a red light mean? Stop completely before entering the intersection and remain stopped until the light turns green. 2. What does a yellow light mean? The light is about to turn red. Stop if you can do so safely. 3. What does a green light mean? Proceed but with caution and yield to pedestrians and vehicles still in the intersection. 4. What does a flashing red light mean? Treat it like a stop sign. Come to a complete stop and proceed when the way is clear. 5. What does a flashing yellow light mean? Slow down and proceed with caution. 6. What does a yield sign mean? Slow down, check for traffic, and give way before proceeding. 7. What does a stop sign mean? Come to a complete stop at the stop line, crosswalk, or before the intersection, and proceed when it's safe. 8. What does a green arrow in a traffic signal mean? You may proceed in the direction of the arrow, but yield to any vehicle or pedestrian already in the intersection. 9. What does a broken yellow line mean? You may pass if the broken line is on your side and it is safe to do so. 10. What does a solid white line mean? Stay in your lane. Crossing it is discouraged. Part 2. Traffic laws and safe driving practices. 11. What should you do when approaching a school bus stop to load or unload children? Stop regardless of the direction you are traveling, unless there is a raised median dividing the roadway. 12. What is the legal blood alcohol content, or BAC, limit for drivers 21 and older in Florida? 0.08%. 13. What should you do if you are involved in a minor crash and your vehicle is blocking traffic? Move your vehicle out of the roadway if possible. 14. What is the move over law in Florida? When approaching an emergency vehicle with flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down to 20 miles per hour, less than the speed limit if you can't move over. 15. What is the speed limit in residential areas in Florida unless otherwise posted? 30 miles per hour. 16. What is the minimum safe following distance under normal driving conditions? The 3-second rule. Maintain at least a 3-second gap between your car and the vehicle ahead of you. 17. What should you do if your vehicle begins to hydroplane? Take your foot off the gas and steer straight ahead. Do not brake suddenly. 18. What is the speed limit in a school zone, unless otherwise posted? 20 miles per hour. 19. At what BAC are drivers under 21 considered to be driving under the influence, or DUI? 0.02%. 20. When are you required to turn on your headlights? From sunset to sunrise, or in any weather conditions that reduce visibility to less than 500 feet. Part 3. Right of way. Who has the right of way at a 4-way stop? The first vehicle to stop has the right of way. If 2 vehicles arrive at the same time, the vehicle on the right goes first. When making a left turn at an intersection, to whom do you yield the right of way? Yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. What should you do when you hear or see an emergency vehicle approaching? Pull over to the closest side of the road and stop until the vehicle has passed. What should you do if you are driving in a turn-only lane and decide not to turn? You must follow the direction of the lane and turn. Who has the right of way in a roundabout? Vehicles already in the roundabout have the right of way. What should you do when entering a highway from a driveway or private road? Yield to all vehicles on the highway. When can you proceed at a yield sign? After slowing down and making sure there are no approaching vehicles that require you to stop. Who has the right of way when 2 vehicles arrive at a T-intersection? The vehicle on the through road has the right of way. What should you do if you are at an intersection with a green light, but the intersection is blocked? Do not enter the intersection until it is clear. What should you do if 2 cars arrive at a stop sign at the same time and are facing each other? If one vehicle is turning left, it must yield to the other vehicle going straight or turning right. Part 4. Special situations. When is it legal to pass on the right? When the vehicle ahead of you is making a left turn, or when there are 2 or more lanes of traffic moving in the same direction? What should you do when approaching a railroad crossing with flashing lights or lowered gates? Stop and wait until the lights stop flashing and the gates are raised. What should you do if your vehicle breaks down on a highway? Move the car to the shoulder of the road, and turn on your hazard lights. What is the first thing you should do if your brakes fail? Pump the brake pedal to try to build up brake pressure. How far away must you park from a fire hydrant? At least 15 feet. When should you use your turn signal? At least 100 feet before turning or changing lanes. What should you do if you have a tire blowout while driving? Hold the steering wheel firmly, take your foot off the gas, and slow down gradually. What is the minimum following distance when following a fire truck? At least 500 feet. When parallel parking, how far from the curb should your vehicle be? No more than 12 inches from the curb. What is the minimum age to get a learner's permit in Florida? 15 years old. Part 5. Fines and penalties. What are the penalties for refusing a chemical test, such as a breathalyzer, in Florida? Automatic suspension of your license for 1 year. What is the fine for illegally passing a school bus? A minimum of $200, and further penalties may apply. What are the penalties for a first-time DUI offense in Florida? A fine of $500 to $1,000, license suspension for 180 days to 1 year, up to 6 months in jail, and possible community service. What happens if you accumulate 12 points on your license in 12 months? Your license will be suspended for 30 days. What is the penalty for speeding in a construction zone in Florida? Fines are doubled in construction zones. What is the consequence of driving with a suspended or revoked license? Possible fines, jail time, and an extension of the suspension. What are the penalties for a second DUI conviction within 5 years in Florida? A fine of $1,000 to $2,000, a 5-year license suspension, and a mandatory minimum 10 days in jail. What is the penalty for leaving the scene of an accident involving property damage in Florida? A fine of up to $500 and possible jail time. What is the penalty for texting while driving in Florida? It is a primary offense with fines starting at $30, but higher penalties apply in school and construction zones. What happens if you drive without insurance in Florida? Your license and vehicle registration can be suspended. Study tips. Refer to the Florida Driver's Handbook for more details on each topic. Take practice tests online to familiarize yourself with the format. Understand the rules of the road, signage, and penalties to gain a complete understanding. Good luck with your Florida driver's license written exam.